welcome to the first intermission report. Thanks for joining us, Adam, Billy, and Brick. Bruins with a 1-0 lead after one period of play here in Game 5 as the Bruins look to stave off elimination. And we talked about what the Bruins needed to do to get off to a good start, to play well in this game, to have a positive result. So far, so good.
Connected. Execution was real good. The pace was good. They were thinking the game fast. It allowed them to play fast. It allowed them to get there, to be physical. So they checked all those boxes. But they did some things in that opening 20 that we've been asking for. We've been craving for that 5-man rotation in the offensive zone, pulling a forward out between the 2D. They've been using the backboards if they didn't have a shot on goal, led to the geeky goal by McAvoy going wide possession play to DeBrusk. So a lot of stuff that we were looking for, we were getting.
For the most part, not much hesitation shooting. There were still 2 or 3 times that they still held on to it a little longer than we'd like. Physicality was good in the first period. They totally matched Florida in that regard. I also think that they didn't get put into many, I can't remember, maybe one, areas of discomfort or in their own zone, Brick, and then they start burping the puck up. They did a nice job with that.
Yeah, the only time you thought Boston was in a little bit of jeopardy was off the rush when the D would just kind of back off, waiting for the pressure from the back checker, and I thought Florida got a little too much room, a little bit.
Rodriguez that time.
A couple of times inside the tops of the circles before the switch off is happening, and forcing Swayman to have to make stops in that situation.
Let's break down that Morgan Geeky goal first, and you talk about the back ends coming through in that play as well, Charlie McAvoy.
Well, it starts on one side of the ice, and Geeky's got the puck, and he goes with a hard wraparound, which is a possession play, and it goes all the way back to McAvoy at the point. So McAvoy handles it. He gets in a position. He has nothing to the net, and DeBrusk wisely just slides over off that short side post, and McAvoy goes off the backboards, off the yellow, and allows DeBrusk the first chance for retrieval, and he gets that little separation by using the net as his ally, and Geeky, who started the play, net drive.
Go.
I mean, a lot of basics, but again, beat your man to the front of the net, off the wall, and Geeky was able to do that. He got inside Verhaeghe, finishes.
Florida does a really good job off the rush when they get a guy, takes the man, but then they get a guy above him as well. They kind of seal him off right there. That's why I think you got to use below the goal line an awful lot against them. I think it breaks them down a bit. And to your point about that, the movement right there, and Geeky coming back to the front. Great hands. Remember, he kind of passed it to himself, too. Not like Brazeau. That was more of a breakaway, but right shot, brings it to his back end and then extends to Bobrovsky. Was very aggressive in that regard. He could make. Boy, I was really happy Bob was okay after taking a shot off his shoulder. Oh, my God, was I worried about him at that
And we were a little concerned with that cross-checking penalty on Geeky before we finally learned that Lundell went for.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to both players here.
Yes.
Let's go down to Sunrise now. Sofia Jurkovic is there taking it all in. So first, just tell us what's the atmosphere like there at Amerant Bank Arena?
Yeah, you know what, Adam? I'll tell you about the atmosphere, but I do have a question about the comment you guys just made about the stoppage of play there. I have a couple questions for you guys, even though we're here. But the atmosphere, it was definitely very jumping when we were on concourse, seeing the Panthers fans come in. But there are still some empty seats, way more than you obviously see at the TD Garden, but some empty seats, and it's kind of quiet at times. You get some Go Panthers or Let's Go Panthers chants happening, but otherwise the atmosphere is, for a Game 5, for a possible closeout game, not as high as you would expect, but obviously fans in the building and getting loud when they can be. But actually, the reason I'm throwing back with a question to you guys is because here we're talking to, the other media in the press box, wondering what that stoppage of play on Bobrovsky was. Didn't get an explanation. Can't hear anything with the replays that we have in the press box. So was the explanation on television that they were just making sure he was okay?
Yeah.
That's all it was.
That's all you can figure out. Steve Kazari, the official down there, saw him get hit up high, right shoulder, right? And then maybe his body language, Bobrovsky was holding on to it or thinking the puck was up there, and maybe that's what the official thought, that he was then hurt because he was leaning forward. Maybe he thought he got hit in the head. All I know is that was the wrong call.
Yeah, that's the best educated guess, that he thought he might have got hurt. Maybe he took it in the neck or something, or maybe off the mask. But he just thought he had the puck smothered in his body, Sophia. And then when he realized he didn't, he was aware and he started scrambling. And the team was scrambling in front of them, and that's the stuff that makes you mad because Boston's got pressure and the puck is loose and he's out of position and they blow the play down.
So you can spread the word. Yeah, you can spread the word in the press box. That's why.
Okay, thank you. I'm asking on behalf of. I can't do that in the press box, but I am asking on behalf of a lot of the media here who is scratching their head, kind of looking around, asking each other questions. But thanks for that explanation. Obviously, I heard you talk about the only goal scored, the Morgan Geekie goal. Yes, he did speak this morning. And even though you guys are asking me questions, I'm yet throwing again back to Brick for this one. But I asked Geekie this morning about the fact that the Bruins beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in an elimination game for them. Obviously, Game 7 instead of winning in 5 or 6. You don't want it to go that way, but it went the right way at the end of the day in Game 7 for the Boston Bruins. Brick, I wasn't sure if this was, a good question to ask, but I threw it out there. Does it help in a playoff series if you've already played an elimination game for you when you're facing other ones down the line?
%, absolutely. When you've experienced the pressure that is a Game 7, especially in the first round, especially when you had a 3-1 series lead, you know what that tension's like. You know what the feeling is. You know what the big stage is. That Game 7 could have gone either way, and you prevailed. That makes a huge difference in your approach and the fact that you've experienced what it's like, and it prepares you emotionally for a game like tonight.
And maybe, Sophia, you talked earlier in our pregame show about how it was business as usual. You didn't feel the tension. Maybe the guys were just chilling in the Florida sun this morning or whatever. Maybe that was part of it, too, meaning they'd been through it. So that's why they're like, okay, we know that we're up against it, but we've dealt with it and we're going to deal with it. Maybe that was part of it this morning.
All right, Sophia.
Absolutely, and thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right, so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I know you got to get back to the press box. I know you don't want to miss the start of the second period. No, it was great. It was great. Thanks, Soph. We look forward to your work.
See you guys later.
During the post-game coverage as well. In terms of moving forward, guys, I mean, is it just sort of rinse and repeat from what we saw in the first period for the Bruins?
No, up it. Keep stepping up. Keep the pressure on. Don't be satisfied with the opening 20. We've seen that. We saw a good first period last game where they had a 2-0 lead, and it went the wrong way when they didn't finish the opportunities that they had earlier in the second period. They got to actually be better than they were in the first period because Florida, they're going to step the game up.
And especially up the quickness of your first pass. And let's see what we saw in period 2 last game when the Bruins were excellent. Their first pass and their flow through the neutral zone was great.
And I would add, because I was so critical of Pasternak and DeBrusk on the game winner by
Barkov.
Yeah. A couple of great defensive plays by Jake DeBrusk, right when the Bruins needed them in the defensive zone. Good awareness, good support, good help, good stick. That's all good signs.
All right, let's take a look at the game summary after one period of play here in Game 5. The Bruins with a 1-0 lead. They've scored first in 3 of the 5 games so far now. Outshooting the Panthers, though, 12-4 in that first period. It's the first time they've outshot the Panthers since Game 1. Of course, Game 1 was a Bruins victory, so we'll see how things play out moving forward for the black and gold. And we're getting ready to send you back now to the national coverage. Thanks for joining us here. We'll be back second intermission on all of our streaming channels, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Signing off for now. first intermission report. Thanks for joining us, Adam, Billy, and Brick. Bruins with a 1-0 lead after one period of play here in Game 5 as the Bruins look to stave off elimination. And we talked about what the Bruins needed to do to get off to a good start, to play well in this game, to have a positive result so far.